Commissioner Scum will introduce them. So we have quorum, and then the first order of business is item number, let's see. Do we have any neighborhood council representatives here today? I'll take that as a no, so we can move on to the next item. Public comment on non-agenda items relating to the business of the commission. Okay. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so we'll move on to public comment, Jermaine, to the agenda items. No. Okay, so we'll move forward. Approval of the minutes. So did we? Oh, those are the minutes? Okay. Yeah. Grab a copy real quick.
We have one up here.
We have
Oh,
minutes here.
right. So this is an action item. Are there any questions or comments from the fellow commissioners? No. Okay, so this is, we'll need to take a roll call vote. We have,
I move to approve the minutes from the February 18th, 2023 meeting.
second. And then, so that was Commissioner Gallardo.
Yes.
Commissioner Ho. Second. So we'll do a quick roll call vote. Commissioner Jimenez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Ho. Yes. Commissioner Gallardo.
Yes.
And I also vote yes. So the minutes have been approved. I will sign them and pass them off to you. So now we're moving on to our public art projects. I think we have 4 coming up. But the first one is LAFD Fire Department Stations number 60 mural. It's in Fall Perez's Council District. Second District. Corian. Oh, sorry. Apologize for that. The artist is Ernie Merlon of Muralism, and the staff will be presenting Jessica. Great, Jessica, do you want to come up?
Hi, good afternoon, Commissioners. I am Jessica Ramirez from the Public Art Division in this program. I will give a recovery of the project before I pass on to Merlon, the artist of the project. And Becky Keane, the Director of Community Improvement for Council District 2, and Celine, who are present for this meeting. This project is an original painted mural titled Still Here After 10,000 Years, which is cited to be installed at LA Fire Station 60, which is located at 5320 Cahuenga Avenue in the city of North Hollywood and in Council District 2. LA Fire Station 60 is owned by the Department of General Services, and they have been inspected for installation of the mural. The artist of the project is Ernie Merlon of Muralism, and the project budget is $35,000. Funding for the project will be from the CRA bond fund, and the mural is part of the larger project to produce murals in the city of North Hollywood. The proposed mural location would be the east wall behind the fire station. The wall faces a parking lot on Chandler Boulevard. It will be visible and accessible to the public. The mural will measure 35 feet tall by 142 feet wide and will be 4,907 square feet. The mural will be coated with an anti-graffiti coating, and CV2 has requested to set aside funds for mural maintenance, which will be available to the artist for maintenance. The mural will provide identification to the community and insight to the history and heritage of the Tonbridge people in the city of Los Angeles. We recommend this mural for conceptual and final approval. With this general background, I will pass it to Ernie Merlon to describe the mural concept, community involvement, and art selection.
All right, perfect. Actually, can I stand up over here? Sure. This is what muralism is. Can we pass this around? You guys can keep them if you don't mind. So just real quick, let me tell you what muralism is. Muralism is we connect people with special needs to the community through art. So all of our artists either have autism, Down syndrome, or some other physical disability. And we train them. So the whole mission of what we do is we train them to actually work. And they get paid for what we're doing. Then the community is invited to come paint. So the way the process works is we paint a giant paint by number mural that we then ask the community to come paint with us for a couple of days at a time. Then our artists come back, they clean up the mural, and they make it happen. This particular mural came to life because the neighborhood council wanted something that represented the Tongva people. And so we wanted to come up with something that would represent them. These two people, Tina and Jessa Calderon, are very important people within the community. Tina is actually a songwriter, a tradition bearer for the community. So they teach not only their Tongva community people, but the general public about the indigenous people, whether it be in song and different things. Tina has actually written, I think, something like 22 songs in Tongva for modern folks. But the idea is that she represents the tradition. They were here from the beginning. She does a lot of traditional dance and dress and things like that, whereas Jessa is more the representation of the modern Tongva and still singing and emceeing, and she does hip hop representing the Tongva people. So that was the idea as the beginning and the end. This over here is a Tongva village overlooking the ocean, overlooking the Los Angeles Basin, and then Catalina. For those of you that may know the story, the Tongva came over from Catalina. That's where their history comes from. And so we wanted to represent that. And then coming across to the Hollywood Hills that divide LA Basin and the San Fernando Valley. So we want to represent the San Fernando Valley on this side. And here we have the Griffith Park Observatory that kind of is the division part. So we wanted to represent the old and the new, but with the idea that after all these years, they're still here. This mural is going to be done in conjunction. Now, I have a long history of mural making. I'm a Walt Disney Imagineer. I do a lot of the rides, things like that. I create murals for those. And it's why I started muralism. I just wanted to do something that was more for the community. We've also teamed up with Matthew Dominguez, who is a Chumash Indian, but was recommended to us by the Tongva people so that he could be a major part of a co-artist on this. So we're going to work on it together. And again, it will involve our special needs employees as well as the entire community. Any questions?
That's great. Thank you so much. I'm going to open it up to my fellow commissioners. Do you have any questions or comments?
Should we pause for just a moment? It would be great to have Jackie Keene come up and say.
Oh, Jackie.
Yeah, and we have Lisa from NOHO. We're all here, but I'm happy just to, on behalf of council, as already mentioned, the CRA, the NOHO CRA used to be in play back in the day. It was abolished, but there were funds left over, and we have about 7 different projects going on in NOHO district where the boundaries are, where we're able to use these funds. And so this has already been, we've worked with various city departments on the different projects. And so it's been a pleasure to work with Dan on his team to make these murals a reality. This is one of many that we're doing in the community. So we're here to lend our support, and we couldn't be happier with the partnership that we established. So I just thank you for your time. And if you have any questions for us, and that's why I'm here too. And Lisa Lee is from NOHO Street Art, and Levi Ponce, who is administering the contract with us.
Yes. And so we worked with some local artists in the area who are invested in the community, pre-approved through GCA, and then also working with a lot of the community business owners. This is a 5-year commitment. This is very serious to have a full understanding of what's needed to have a mural in place on a property to be preserved. So this is very exciting. I'm so excited to see this. I'm very excited to be here, by the way, too.
Excited to have you.
Okay.
It's great. Well, thank you both for your comments.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah. And so I would just pass it on to see if any of the commissioners have any questions from you or.
I'm open to whatever.
So,
And if you come up with something later, let us know. Email me in. You got a question?
I'll just say that, no, I think it's gorgeous. I think it's a really interesting project. I think it's so important to remind us of the indigenous roots of the country. And I love the multi-generation and saying that we're still here. And even if it adapts and even if there's, you have different generations change, become more Americanized, they're still rooted in their culture. And I love what you guys do with people with autism or other, other things you're dealing with. It's amazing. It's really, really amazing work. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the time would go, there were well over 5,000 of them before the Spanish settlers showed up. Spanish settlers, Russian settlers, all of us came to interrupt their world. And there were villages all over the place, so it's great that we can honor them.
Amazing.
All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Oh,
Yeah,
excellent. I love questions.
Yeah, you might have to. Yeah.
Just like you're going back. Can you give me context on how the two women were selected? Any community comments? I just want to understand and contextualize, even if it's just, just the understanding of how the communities received it. Any comments?
Yeah, so actually, when I had met with the neighborhood council, they, we set out to do 100 murals before the Olympics as muralists. So I'm meeting with neighborhood councils all the time to produce murals all over Southern California. And we met with the neighborhood council and they really wanted a Tonga Day mural. They wanted something that would represent this community. So I actually met with Jessa as their representative. So Jessa is the younger lady. She is quite a force. I mean, she is not only a model and an MC and has songs out on the radio right now. So she's an icon within the community, but all of her songs have something to do with the culture, the decolonization, the awareness of indigenous culture. She is not only Tonga, she's Chumash, and I'm going to butcher the other one, Humbi or something like that, and Mexican background. So she was just a fascinating person to be working with anyways. And then I started to learn about her mom, who was just this force within the indigenous community, not only bringing together the Tonga people, but all of the tribes in the area. And she holds dances and prayer ceremonies. They came to one of our murals and did a prayer. And so I was really inspired by that. And we wanted something, we were talking about creating a mural that would represent the people that live here. And it was actually Paula Cantu, which is the president of one of our neighborhood councils, who said, what about they were here in the beginning and they're still here now? I think we forget that there's still well over 2,000 indigenous living in Los Angeles right now. And so that's really what the impetus for it was. We were trying to figure out what to put on this building because it's a big, beautiful wall that I've always had my eye on. And so that's really where it began. I had also just come back from a trip in Europe where there was a lot of this kind of big faces on buildings, and I was inspired by that. That makes sense.
Yes.
Beautiful. I really appreciate the reminder of, what a mural of this scale and also what it requires to preserve a mural thanks to the city mural ordinance. Because it is lasting and it is one to, the pause of it all, like, wow, this is going to become a part of the landscape, the visuals that are a part of it. And I really appreciate these two women inviting Chumash, members of the Chumash tribe, to participate, or the artist, I should say, to participate in that as it borders and they're part of this area. So I all of it is great. It feels good.
I mean, what you just said is so powerful because the Tonga people have asked a Chumash artist to be a part of it. And that's so cool. It shows the connection between their communities.
And I had one comment, I absolutely love the scale, and how the landscape sort of fits within the frame of the building. It's really powerful. I had a quick question for you. It looks photorealistic, like what was the process that you used with?
Well, so I work pretty photorealistic when I paint myself. Generally, when we paint it, it will be somewhere in between, right? It'll have a little bit of more brushy work, and because the public's involved in painting it, and I want a little bit of that to show through. Mostly, what we try and do is really create a concept, like what could it look like? But generally, they look better than this. And a lot of times, when we Photoshop a mural on a building, which is what we've done here, it's hard to tell which one is the finished picture and which is the Photoshop picture. But I like it to be a little bit more brushy and painterly when it's all said and done. So that it will probably push more of that way.
That's great, thank you. And they wanted to let the public know that Charmaine Jefferson.
And I'm so glad I didn't miss the vote because I actually already heard about the project and seen images of it.
Oh, wonderful.
So I was actually.
Awesome. Thank you.
So thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. So on that note, is there a motion to approve LAFD Station Mural, Station 60 mural for both conceptual and final?
So moved. I think this is the first one.
I know.
I move to approve the conceptual and final, move to vote on a conceptual and final approval for the LAFD Station 60 mural.
Thank you. Laura. Second, thank you, Commissioner Ho. So we'll do a quick roll call vote. Commissioner Jimenez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Great. Commissioner Jefferson.
Yes.
Commissioner Ho? Yes. Commissioner Bierdo?
Yes.
And I also vote yes, so. Passed, approved.
No, thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming.
Let me give you more room.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be.
Good luck, everybody.
Thank you. Good luck. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, everybody. Y'all have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next item is the Public Space Activation Fund projects, and we have a few of them. The first one is Voice of the Streets, a celebration of Caribbean culture. It's in Council District 8. This will bring out some final.
These are recommendations to the gentleman.
Okay, recommendation to the general manager. Great, so I'm trying to see who will be presenting. Staff Armando Smith will be presenting.
I'm Armando Smith,
Thank you.
associated with the Grants Division, and it's my pleasure to introduce our first presenter today, the Jamaica Cultural Alliance, who are asking for the $15,000 grant to help support their upcoming event, Voices of the Streets, the celebration of Caribbean culture, a dynamic component of the larger Caribbean Literacy Conference, CARICON, an event that will be taking place June 3rd. This exciting poetry slam and sound clash event brings together local food vendors, food trucks, and performers to showcase rich cultural expressions of Caribbean community. This event takes place at Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall parking lot, with main entrance at the driveway, 3650 West Martin 13th Union Boulevard on June 3rd from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And will include performances by local poets and musicians, as well as a variety of Caribbean food and drinks from local vendors. Through various outreach strategies and community partnerships, this event aims to promote cross-cultural learning and understanding while enhancing community engagement and celebrating unique voices of the streets. And it is my pleasure to introduce Steve Russell, representative from the Jamaica Cultural Alliance.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Steve Russell. I'm with the Jamaica Cultural Alliance and CARICOM on the whose premise as well. Voices of the Street, the celebration of Caribbean culture we have on June 3rd at the Baltimore Springshore Mall from 5 to 10 p.m. The event, as presented, will bring together other members of the community. Our goal is to bring poets, spoken word artists, musicians, street vendors, food trucks. We'll also have input from the LA Public Library, Malik Books, and we'll also have a drum circle, which will include artists such as drummers, storytellers. If you go to the next slide, please. Storytellers, as well as artists like Dr. Amina Blackwood Meeks. We'll have community tables to include the Garifuna Museum, some for Caribbean tourist boards and local organizations like the JCA, which are part of. We'll also have a session for the kids, face painting and events like those. The next slide shows you some of the artists we have commissioned. The Gentleman Band, which is out of Jamaica, Asian Drum Circle, Einstein Brown. We'll also have artwork from Bernard Boyce, who is a famous artist of Caribbean descent here in the Los Angeles area. And then we bring together our DJs from different aspects of the Caribbean. As the Caribbean is more than just one language group, we try to include our artists from Belize, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and also the Spanish side from the Puerto Rico and the other Spanish islands. 10 poets have already been selected to partake in the event on the afternoon of June 3rd. On the next slide, we're looking at some of the foods that will be there. We have, as I said, food truck. We're bringing the jerk chicken, the curry goat, the mofongo from Puerto Rico. We have roti and that from Trinidad and Tobago. Because the Caribbean has English, Indian, all those influences. And that's one of the things that we're trying to bring to the community to emphasize that we are more alike than different. And we think that this event will allow us to do so. On the next slide, we're looking at the organization that we've been in talks with, who are already committed to be a part of the event. Community Build, we're working with Albert Lord, Blazers with Mr. Benny, the Garifuna Museum, and of course the Baltimore Crenshaw Mall, which is the location. And we're also in talks with members of CBD8, or the Office of Mr. Marquis Dawson. The project as presented, we're expected to cost a little more than 15,000, and we're asking that you help us with that amount. We've put 5,000 to performance for event setup and equipment, 6,000 for marketing, permits and contingency, 4,000. And then we have some contribution from the Dominican Republic Tourist Board, as they will be providing the prizes for our winners of the competitions. We also have Judith Follow Reed and Malachi Smith, who are international artists who will be at the event. We've also decided to offer their time in kind. And so that part of the project is also taken care of. Transportation is being presented by Blazers. Their community groups will assist us with that. And so this is basically the event. We're hoping that we are able to connect with the different groups. We're in a predominantly African American area, and sometimes there's that thing where we think that we're different. And so we think an event like this will showcase not only diverse areas of the Caribbean, but also make a connection with the local people in the area, so we can be one together rather than being apart, thinking that we're different than the others. With that, I thank you for your time, and I pray that we will go our project to the next level where we'll be able to make this project a reality. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Matt. I noticed that you have more artists on the list than you have on here that
Yes.
you allocated money to. So how are those artists being compensated or not at all?
There are some artists that will be compensated,
Yeah.
some will not, because in a competition setting like a Sound Clash, what basically happens is that all the participants compete. And so it's a musical elimination round, and they already understand that that's how that works. And then the final person that's standing up gets prize.
I
So
see.
that's one of the reasons why some are not there. Also, the fact that at the time of presenting, we were still in the process of getting other artists in.
So there will be a number of artists who may not be compensated,
That's
right?
correct.
And they want that.
They know.
Yes.
Very excited about the possibility of this event. Caribbean food is one of my top three and my top three. One of the things I also have the same question as Commissioner Ho, and we really like to encourage payment of artists and creatives. And one other question I had that's possibly related is your food vendors, are they giving any type of vendor fee to the event for expenses, or is this your first try and you're gonna see how it goes?
No, we've had events in the space before.
Got it.
Where we've had food vendors because we have done the festival in 2019 on the ground.
Oh,
Since then, they've been virtual and we're ending back. So as relates to this setup of event, it's the first time we're doing the Poetry Slam and the Songcash together. As relates to payment, yes, the food truck would pay for the space. And so that's how we will offset some of that.
okay.
Yes.
They are paying for space.
Yeah, they pay for space because they're selling to the participant. We're asking them for a contribution of $500 for food truck, and we're expecting to have 2 or 3 food trucks there.
And the vendors are doing the same? Are they?
No, the vendors are different. We're having most community tables at this event, so those are free. Sometimes that can be offset with a relationship with the city office, because they might provide us with the tables and stuff like that. And so everyone would just set up and
So you actually have an income budget, but we're just not saying it right.
I wouldn't say income per se, because so far we haven't ascertained the truck. We haven't talked with them. And so if they don't show up, then we'd have to bring somebody in to offer like sampling of food to bring the cultural aspect to the food.
When was this budget support time period submitted?
Like a month.
So
or
there's
so.
been a while between when you submitted and now. Got it.
Yes.
Those were all my questions and comments.
Appreciate it.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Go ahead. Forgot how we do this.
I'm like, so used to Zoom in the squares.
My question was the same as the other two commissioners with regards, on one hand, with the payment to the performers. And even if there are those that are competing,
Yes.
just the idea that they got $100 so that they could cover the cost of putting everybody in the car and the gas and et cetera, before I would like to see our money go to Facebook and Instagram. But that's just me.
That's something to take into consideration, definitely, because I'm a performer myself and understand the challenges that performers will have when you have to go from quantity to quantity, plus the time it takes to prepare for performance. So it's something we will definitely take into consideration.
I mean, I spotted and seen most of the groups that are on here, so that's not it. It will be quite exciting. I wonder whether or not you actually have enough space, given where you're putting it. And what I anticipate would probably be the crowd probably going to spill into the parking lot.
We are in the outside area, just in front of the
Movie theater.
movie theater.
Yeah.
So yeah, so would spill, because the parking lot areas where we put in the food trucks, the library is there. So yeah, there's a lot of space beyond where that we could. One thing that we're doing also is ticketing, so that we can actually control some of the crowd, so it doesn't get out there.
Also, people are going to pay to get in.
No, they're
just
extreme, but
ticketing
they're-
just
yeah,
so that
just-
they
yeah,
come in.
yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, that, my only thing was just, I know that space real well. There's lots of events there, and it's a great space, even when they just put vendors up, people are going to gather. But I anticipate that you're gonna say, gee, we should have been on the roof.
Well, to be frank with you, the roof is what we've always used. The mall is going through new management, and they're also doing some engineering work to make sure that the roof is safe. So that's the reason why we reverted to that space.
Well, if the more you can get them to let you have the is that parking to the north of the strip,
Yes.
so
yeah.
that you can put as many vendors into the parking lot so that you have the space on the street for the people and the movement and the dancing and the music and all of that other kind of stuff, because that will be, and I assume the movie theater is not closing down.
No,
It's been
because there's a walkway to the theater, and they normally have that cordon off. So there's still access to them. There's some food, and we're not expecting to go about that.
I mean, it'll be fabulous. It's just going to be tight.
It's gonna be a logistical challenge, but
And people have been sequestered. Get out.
Yeah, we look forward to that because we know that this can be a great thing for the community as we build, and that's why we want to, test the concept. And of course, as we said, medical spectrum is always upstairs because there's a lot more there. But behind the palm trees, there's also another space where we have porta potties, and so we can make arrangements here and, as you suggested, utilize space.
My last comment is just simply that given the proximity of this to Council District 10, though they may not necessarily be one of your financial supporters, there probably would be an interest in helping to get the word out that the festival is going to be happening.
CD, Mississippi, yes.
Definitely. It's like down the street from this, so
Yeah, Limerick Park, exactly.
no, I'm a other way. I'm the 10 district, but that's okay. But now that we have a council person, it'd be great to.
Yeah, to engage them as well. Yes.
Well, I just want to say, yeah, it's a lovely presentation. Looks like it's going to be a really fun event, and I'm marking the calendar. And
Yes, please join us
Love.
because it's a celebration of Caribbean American Heritage Month. And we're trying to make sure that we have more involvement where that is concerned within the city as well. So, yes.
Okay, super. So how do we still take a vote, right? Okay.
Recommendation.
Okay, so do we have a recommendation to approve the Voices of the Streets, a celebration of Caribbean culture?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Jefferson. For a second.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jimenez. So we'll do a quick vote. Commissioner Ho.
Yes.
You vote. Commissioner Guerra.
yes.
Commissioner Jefferson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez.
Yes.
Appreciate your time. Thank
And
you.
I also vote yes. So
Thank you.
approved. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is SJE Summer Festival. Its location is SJE parking lot of field off in Mason Avenue. It's in Council District 12. Armando Smith will be presenting this project.
So our next presenter is St. John Youth Church, who are requesting $20,000 to support their upcoming SJE Summer Festival, which takes place May 26th and May 28th. The SJE Summer Festival will celebrate the beginning of summer by offering an array of performing artists groups to entertain the community members. Council District 12. This year, the festival aims to honor the local Latinx culture that lives within CD 12. The public outdoor space of St. John Youth Church will transform into a 3-day festival that will spotlight Hispanic culture through food, music, and dance. Please allow me to introduce St. John Youth's representative, Lucy Massey.
Thank you for having me today. My name's Peter, and I'm so developing person as well. So my name is Lucy Massey. I am the Director of Development at St. John's, and our SJE Summer Carnival will be taking place. It's Memorial Weekend. Traditionally, the community looks forward to seeing that weekend. So we are in District 12. Go ahead and just kind of presentation. So today I just really was hoping to look forward to showing you about our summary, our purpose, including future implications, like how are we gonna continue with this, as well as our proposed budget. So as was mentioned, it really brings culture and family together in this area. It's a very rich, diverse cultural area. So it's very intercultural. As you see, we have like a parade with all the flags, so it's beyond. But for this year, we really want to focus on the Hispanic culture. So this is actually our campus. This is one side of our campus. We also have another side for parking lot where people will park. But if you look from the Lawson Street, we transformed this parking lot and the field into a full festival. So if you go to the next slide, you'll see this is a previous event picture from last year. And we have food and art and artists. So we get a big tent with the stage and we bring in artists, mariachis, folklorico. We're going to have Aztec dancers as part of the parade as well. And we'll have children groups and adult groups and bands, and we kind of just really bring in all the different ways of promoting understanding of the culture. And in addition to that, we're going to be doing arts and crafts. We're actually looking to show kids how to make piñatas. And they do face painting. So the arts and crafts is a great way. Parents love to like kind of just have the kids learning the different arts and stuff. Sometimes parents will get there and start doing some activities as well. And then you can see there one of our groups. In addition to that, we have food from cultural, a large variety of food, but we will be having churros, which are very common, and all different types of Hispanic food as well. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. So it's really about learning about the culture through all our senses, right? The food and the art and entertainment, but it's a collaboration of the community. So this event actually has local businesses involved, they'll promote it, they'll attend, they'll participate as vendors as well, just to even kind of highlight their part of the community. So it's such a beautiful experience to kind of see it, the group as one. It's not like me and you, it's all of us here as part of the chat. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. I included some demographics for Chatsworth. You can see white is 46%. And Hispanic being our second largest one, we decided this year we're going to focus on our Hispanic community. Even though we have a lot of different diversity within our area, we're going to focus on Hispanic this year. On average, we get about 20,000 people attend over those 3 days. It's pretty crazy busy. So it's a lot of us making sure to be able to manage it in an effective way. About 20,000, of that 20,000, about 18,000 are first time on our campus. They're just in the community. And they come out and like, what's going on? So that's about 18,000. So go ahead and go to the next slide. So again, as we said, for future, we're really hoping to take this and let it grow, becoming more intercultural. So it's not just focusing on the Hispanic, but the Hispanic learning from our Filipinos, learning from our Indian culture. It becomes more intercultural as we continue to grow. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. So our budget, in order to make this happen, it does take a lot of money to put this, event on. So you'll see we're asking for 20,000 today, and that is going to go mostly to our artists. And in addition to our artists, some rentals and marketing, but we are receiving some donated funds. Some of the community local businesses will donate towards our printing and towards our design of our marketing. In addition, and then there's volunteers. We do get a lot of volunteers to make this happen. And then additional funds we're hoping to raise. We do like a raffle, so we raise funds to help support the rest of it. I know there was a question earlier about like additional artists who are not paid. We do offer food for groups who actually don't want to get paid. They have like children's group and they're like, we want to just dance. So it's like, we'll still compensate them through our additional funds. And so that's our budget. I was just like 5 minutes. I wanted to make sure I had on time. So yeah, then I'm open to any questions.
You didn't inform me.
But you
by the
did.
way.
Yeah.
I was the one that took the class.
Armando was like,
A lot of times we have a lot of things.
yes, of course, I understand.
So are there any questions or comments?
One looks exciting, and it just reminded me that all of a sudden how much we can tell the world that LA is becoming a city of festivals, and at any time you can always every week find a festival somewhere, great cross-cultural engagement, stay vacation, the whole nine yards, just more than what we were thinking. So one, I love it. Two, there are a couple of organizations in the city that do things on their own space that have had some success talking to council members in their district about getting them the funds to buy the stage. So the stage that you put up and rent,
Right.
actually there are some organizations around that have actually secured so that it allows them, and some of it happened during the pandemic, it allowed them to continue to do things outside and other events, and it created a whole nother layer. So while that's not necessarily what you're talking about,
Right.
one of the outcomes of this is that, and the one that comes most immediately to mind is the one at Lula Washington Dance Theater, which they put up on their parking lot. And you have facility like that, and it has allowed them to do other things and then present other people, et cetera. So just, you might want to talk with your council person around that particular notion. And there's a couple of others like that.
Oh, that's great. No, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
that.
Any other questions or comments? It's a great festival.
And I hope you all join us.
Yeah, no, we always let it down and we tried. We tried to attend and
I'll get you a churro.
Yeah.
I'll be around, most likely wearing an orange shirt, running around.
Can I say a quick question?
Yeah.
So this year you said you're focusing on the Latinx community. How has it happened in the past? Have you focused on
So-
different communities or how?
It has become known as our multicultural event, just because it's always been very multicultural. Even last year, we were like, you know what? It's actually beyond multicultural. It's intercultural, because it's this idea of them learning from each other. It's not just like, this is me, look at me. It's like, how do we connect? So I think last year is where we started saying, hey, we have all this diversity. And so I think people come to it knowing that it's a carnival, but they don't realize they're leading with this experience of learning from each other. So I don't think we haven't focused on anything this year. Looking at this grant and looking at how we can move forward, it was this idea of, hey, we have a lot of resource of our Hispanic culture already here. Let's highlight them. But then the idea of maybe next year is the Indian culture, like kind of African, like how do we want to look at it within our group? We have a very diverse, so it's we have different ministries within our group too, that are cultural. So.
How did you come to that decision of focusing on Latinx culture? Like, is there a committee or like how is that?
Yeah,
decided?
so as it was written in the grant, there is a committee. You have a carnival committee. It's made up of 8 members of the community. So there's like a person who sits there from Albertsons, there's a person who sits there who's part of A-Virus Children's Group, that I sit on it like as a representation of the school. So it's a large group, and together it was like, what do we consider to be a good way to move? And so because of it being our second largest population, that's how we decided this year.
I have a question. Since the event is focused on Latinx, Latino, Hispanic culture, take your pick. Can you tell us the connection between what looks like the headliner, Captain Cardiac, and the Coronaries Band to the culture?
Sure. So actually, so that is one of the ones that has continuously come out and that brings a lot of people coming out to see them. That one was already kind of booked before we kind of went specifically to the Hispanic group. But all our artists are from LA, and there are Latinos on that group as well as the other groups as well. So it's even our DJs. But a lot of our artists are Latinos.
Yeah, I would just like to see like the mariachi
Sure.
and the paid, comparable to.
Yeah, the mariachis are getting paid as well. I know that the cost of that one, I think, because they have this big following, that they are a little expensive. And I don't know if we'll continue to use that.
Yeah, and nothing against them, just because of
Yes.
the theme
Of course.
and
Yeah.
The cultural focus.
Yes.
And how many years have you been doing this?
So this is going to be our 14th.
14.
With the exception, obviously, of COVID, it was
Right.
2 years. Last year was our first year back, and that's when we hit March. 100,000 last year. So
And how many years with the activation fund? Is this the first time?
this is our first time,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm excited to be here.
Okay, great, thank you.
You know, thank you for your consideration. Thank you so much.
One last thing, roughly, the ticketing prices, how much would be the average ride or the average food
Sure.
item?
Sure, so we're working with a company that we've used a few times to keep it reasonable. There are wristbands that people could get for like $40, they could ride all day. In addition to that, they were doing like the tickets, like $2 a ride. If you think about it, if you wanted to, so a person could come in, we're doing digital, we're trying to be also sustainable, not have tickets all over the place. So they buy a wristband and it's digital on there. They can pay cash or card with the machine, but then the child or parent could just scan it. And they use that also for food, or for the nachos, the tacos, everything else. It could be used that as well. We do have food trucks as well, who will be coming in to support our food area. Just with COVID and being sanitized and everything, we do kind of a hybrid where we do smaller snacks and foods, and then we do the food trucks as well.
Yes.
So one question is, are the food trucks paying a vending
So
fee
they
for being
can-
present?
So, well, so I take that back. There's not a fee. They give us 3% back based on their sales. Last year, we made $800 from that, and that helps support our food area that we're running.
I asked that question because I love food trucks. I think it's great, but I think food trucks should have to pay to be somewhere just like
I
everybody else
agree.
has a rock hard bill.
Yeah, so it is. a
Or
3%.
some
Right,
arrangement.
but that's, there is no arrangement, but we're not.
And then the other thing is just, it's sort of, back to your comment. After you finish thinking through, and first of all, I think this is great, Susan. But after you finish thinking through, okay, this year we're gonna do this thing, and then next year we might do that thing, and that year we're gonna do this thing. I offer the following caution. You have for all these years actually been able to pull people from across different backgrounds because you mix up all the different. As you go forward, even still having the other backgrounds in, even though it has a theme, allows everyone to still think everybody should come as opposed to, oh, it's not me this year.
Right.
And I only say that having had to try to prove to people that it is possible to present the world and all kinds of things, Japanese vases if you want to, from an African-American perspective. But that doesn't mean that's the only thing I'm putting on my stage. And so you've already had that success, and I understand exactly what you're trying to do. Just know that be ready for what could be the different reaction you get, so that somehow or another you continue to highlight and then
Right.
showcase.
And I love that you say that, and I think that's part of like the concept is still to have all the other cultures. That's why the flags is still like the 60 flags of all countries. And we're creating with the Aztec dancers, but because it's still Hispanic focus, we'll still have a Filipinos in this place. We're still gonna have, our Indian, we have a Italian, and so we'll have little things, but again, our projects are gonna be so focused on learning the Hispanic culture, right? So it's like almost like, even though there's a focus, there's still like everyone is still part of it. So I love how you said that.
And then my only other comment was just for within your community, making sure that you talk to the community so that you know how they want to be referred to. Is it Hispanic? Is it Latinx? Is it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because within various communities, you could have, everybody speaking Spanish in Belize,
Right.
or something like that. So
That's a great recommendation.
if especially when you're doing the focus, once you do that, then you won't get that backlash. You might.
I agree, number one, about the power of cultural festivals and what that can do, right, to advance intercultural learning and celebrating and all of that. So that's one. And the second is we are very lucky to live in a region with a complex, what we call Latinidad, especially, when you think about the demographics of the city. And so I think inviting folks to celebrate the different regions is something that can only benefit when folks see themselves reflected in specific ways. I think that can only benefit. So I agree with Commissioner Jefferson on that. If we lived in Kansas, maybe, you know, like a broader kind of umbrella might be, because there's a lot of Latinos in Kansas, but they're not as, right? The history here in Los Angeles, the ongoing dynamic expansion of our community, I think it requires a little more complexity when we refer to ourselves and refer to others. Yes. So agree.
Thank you.
I think it's great, and so maybe at some point it'll be just all cultures.
Yeah.
Because they all are participants.
Exactly.
It's a good amazing festival.
That note, do so. Let's see. Do we have a motion to approve SJE Summer Festival?
Yes.
Commissioner Ho, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jimenez. We'll do a quick roll call vote. Commissioner Pierdo,
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ho,
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes.
and I also Commissioner vote yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna excuse myself as well.
Thank you. So our next item is Best Afri. Okay, yeah, Fest Afri. Let's see, this is in Council District 11. They're requesting civic report from the DCA for 15,000. That will take place on May 27th, and we have Armando Smith to present the.
Yes. So please allow me to introduce Ariodon Koya, requesting a grant of $15,000 to help support Fest Afri, which will be taking place May 27th. Fest Afri will feature sectors from African culture and creative industries such as music, food, fashion, and storytelling. This event will take place at Venice Beach Recreation Center, Lula Plaza, on May 27th, 2023. Fest Afri will promote and spotlight fun and energetic African music genre, Afrobeat, which continues to rise in popularity within America. This event will include booth displays featuring different foods and fashion from the local African culture located within the city of Los Angeles. In addition, it will include a stage that will showcase musical and fashion performances from African artists and models based in LA. Abigail, you can.
Good afternoon, honorable commissioners. My name is Abiodun Koya. I am an officer by profession and I'm from Nigeria. So I created the Fest Afri. I'm a DC transplant and I created Fest Afri because I'd like to showcase the many spheres of the African culture, especially with the rise of the Afrobeat music genre. We have lots of Baby Doe, Whiskey, Thames, and they're all out there receiving international awards. So there's this hunger for African culture. On top of that, Africa Day celebration is May 25th, and it's a day where Africa is celebrated. So Fest Afri will be on Saturday, May 27th, noon to 6 at the Venice Beach Recreation Center by the beach. And this next slide. And we're going to have music, African food, fashion show, storytelling, face painting, African arts and crafts. Colette Miller, who is a mural artist who paints the angel wings across Los Angeles, has agreed. She's a personal friend of mine, so she's agreed to unveil the special Africa angel wings that day. And her goal is to remind humanity to be kind to one another. So she's doing a special wings for Africa. And then we're going to have local vendors. We've invited local elected officials, a lot of African alien diplomats, Senegal, Togo, Congo, Sierra Leone, Kenya, etc. We invited them, and also we've invited Councilwoman Tracy Park
whose district we're having a kid, we want her to give the opening remarks. The mayor's office, the mayor is also likely to be there. If she can't, we'll have her via video. Next slide, please. And so we've created strategic goals and objectives. We've assigned different roles to our 6 core members, team members, so we can achieve each task effectively. And we're going to have consistent follow-up in-person Zoom meetings. We've already started all of that. We're put together a timeline to achieve our goals. Next slide. So we're going to have a consistent promotion of the Fest Afrique billboards, radio stations, social media marketing, weekdays, countdown like adverts. We're going to have young millennials as part of volunteers to do like African fun TikTok dances to create the awareness, because that's the trend right now. We're going to have flash mob dances. Flash mob dances are a group of dances that we can convert somewhere in surprise people and start doing African dance. And this is just to get their attention and show them the tradition well of doing that. So just get everybody's attention. Yes, social media marketing, we have the young folks flash mob and billboards for the promotion to campaign for the event. And so desired outcome, we're hoping for this to be a culture exchange program. I'm still surprised that quite some people think Africa is a country instead of a continent, and so we want to correct that notion and say it's a continent, beautiful different countries and beautiful animals and food and the landscape. We hope for this to be an annual festival, and lastly, we want this to be to bridge the gap between the mainland Africans and the Africans in diaspora, to connect them and to sort of bring them home. And overall, Fest Afrique is sort of like, a lot of people don't have the opportunity to travel to Africa to experience different cultures. So it's more like, okay, if Moses can't go to the mountain, we're bringing the mountain to them. This is what Fest Afrique is about. Thank you kindly for your time, and yeah, I'd love to answer any questions you may have.
Great. Question from Commissioner.
Yeah, I was curious if so I look at budgets and I always wonder like how much we can save by donation with the council office. And I don't have you considered that, or have like the council office offered any support just so we can shave off some money and put it back to the artist bucket?
Not yet. Okay, not yet. I do, however, have a video conference with at the end of this month with the councilwoman. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, my hope is that we can just save some money on any kind of permits or whatever it is, like on the materials that
would be.
Yeah, and if so,
yeah, awesome. Thank you kindly for that.
And if you do get the extra funding, how will you spend it?
It will go towards the artists. As an artist myself, I mean, there's still the problem from COVID, so.
Yeah.
And just to underscore Commissioner Cole's comment, from experience, I know it's very difficult to get permits covered, but the tables, the chairs, the canopies, yeah. So I would definitely take that advice to save a little on your budget. I love this idea as someone who has visited Africa. I still love to celebrate the culture in my backyard. I am a newbie to Afrobeats, but I'm also excited to learn more about that. So love that you are centering what has become such an international phenomenon. Yes.
Even with my opera genre, I'm looking at how I can get into that. Right. I'm like, I'm talking to producers like, okay, how can I infuse opera with Afrobeats? And thanks to the great legend Fela Anikulapo Kuti that started that. He's passed on, but yeah,
I
it's
love
just
that.
Fela's
Oh,
It's fun.
yeah, from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he died of HIV/AIDS.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an icon. And that's so nice. I thank you so much for your time, really. Thank you for doing this too.
Yeah. Those were my comments.
For Commissioner Gallardo's comments, back that up. The council members actually do have access to tables and chairs that you can ask. Everybody here should understand that they can do that. Not necessarily they give it to you, but they can do that. That's one. Two, you may have an opportunity, particularly because you're doing fashion and you're also going to be reflecting what is the fashion of the African continent and the various countries, and deeply appreciate your emphasizing that. So forgive me if I say this and it sounds like it's out of nowhere, but the Brooklyn Museum is putting together an exhibition on the fashion of Africa, continent of Africa. And they are literally taking photos and images right now for people all over the country as an open call.
OMG.
So you're not only doing this, but to the extent that you may be able to reflect either stuff you may already have in your own personal collection, show them because they're looking for it, but also how it's being reflected here. It's about Africa and it's about the fashion of Africa.
Right.
But they're also asking people from all over the country for images and etc. So Los Angeles can have a piece in Brooklyn because of what you're doing. So that's
Because I actually have a clothing line myself. This is from my clothing. I design all the outfits. I wear
And you
for
are
my stage.
actually
So thank you. High five to you. Thank you. Thank you kindly.
So
I
this
love that.
feels very timely and appropriate for something that I know that's going to go on. I think this show is supposed to open later this year.
Okay.
And it's going to be a big deal because Africa and Brooklyn is like, I mean, you must be. The only other thing is just simply, I'm curious. I assumed it because you said we're going to bring them out to Moses. How you picked Venice? Venice Recreation Center.
I picked Venice for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a tourist area. And number two, a lot of artsy people, curious people, people who are open-minded are drawn to Venice. It's by nature, you can't go wrong like that. By choosing that. It's just, it feels right.
I mean, I like the non-obviousness of where it is located.
Right.
I was just curious.
Right. It's very artsy area. People gravitate towards that.
And the music center just did Omar, so
Exactly.
tell them to have it.
Exactly. Thank you. Oh.
So, and I wanted to say one thing. I love that you are involved in fashion because it's very rare that anything has kind of come before us that also, because it is it's all levels of art form and it's very cultural. So thank you. Thank you for that. I really hope to see more of those in the future. So on that note, is there a motion to approve? Yeah, I lost the page.
I need to recommend.
Yes.
Festa Free. Thank you. For arts exhibition.
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Jefferson. So we'll do a quick vote. Commissioner Jimenez.
Yes.
Commissioner Hall? Yes. Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
Commissioner Guerrero?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. Congratulations. Okay, so the next item is Monday in Seoul, Turn on the Sun Cultural Festival. It's in Poima. This Council District 6, they're requesting a interesting amount of a number, 19,046. And again, Mr. Armando Smith will be presenting
Yes, allow me to introduce Conforma Beautiful, who is requesting $90,046 to help support their upcoming Prende El Sol or Turn on the Sun Cultural Festival, which will take place in Council District 6. This nonprofit organization, Conforma Beautiful, aims to blend healthy living with cross-cultural promotion with their upcoming festival, Prende El Sol Turn on the Sun Cultural Festival. The theme of this festival is to celebrate the power of the sun through the environmental lens of solar power and through artistic celebration and representation. To further cross-cultural learning, they will incorporate presentations from local tribes and heritage groups, as well as performances from local dance, tropes, and musical acts. This theme will be intertwined with artistic installations such as yarn bombing by Conforma Beautiful Knitting Circle and crafting stations for children curated as by local artists, including Unical Paints and the art students from Panorama High School. And finally, they will have a diverse cuisine represented through food tents offered throughout the festival. And Representatives Veronica Padilla, which is found in Sandoval, will present.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. I'm Ron Padilla, I'm the executive director of Conforma Beautiful. And this is Chrissy Sandoval, our creative director. Conforma Beautiful is an environmental justice organization, and that we provide education, we impact local policy, and we support local arts and culture to create a more healthy and sustainable San Fernando Valley. We've been serving the Northeast San Fernando Valley since 1996, and in 2021, December of 2021, we adopted or acquired Casa Esperanza. So now we are one organization serving the Northeast San Fernando Valley. And this been an excellent event that we're promoting. We've been posting it since 2017, and it's been different every time we posted. We've done museum, we've done carnival style, we did an art installation, a park festival, and this year we wanted to do it as a street festival. And the pictures you're going to see are current images of this December, the past December 2022. So I'm gonna let Chrissy Sandoval really talk about that actual event. Do you want to closer? Thank you. Hi everyone. So as Veronica mentioned, this is from our past event this past December. We took over the street. We closed off part of Light Street between Willis and Van Nuys Boulevard, and we let the neighbors come out and play on the streets. Panorama City is very congested, and so it's full of apartment buildings. A lot of these are single, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom apartments with multiple families living in them. So coming out into the street and providing that space is really, invited by our community. So here we can see the same festival, and again, it's going to be on Light Street in Panorama City between Willis and Van Nuys Boulevard. The next slide, please. So this Prende El Sol event is to combine arts and culture through environmental justice. So arts and culture is a great platform to move environmental justice forward. And so we're using that here in providing workshops and sending out the message and creating this movement to make a more sustainable future for the environment. Next slide, please. And our partners, we have Casa Esperanza has been there since 1996, and so we've had several strong partners, including Legal Champions and Service, that helps us direct the traffic when we're walking off the street, to help us talk to our neighbors. The Conservation Board provides a lot of volunteer opportunities. We hope to be partnering with the Department of Cultural Affairs. The Great One Leaders is a local dance group that we partner with. They do DJing and breakdancing. We also partner with the local schools. All of our clients, we do with the family services. So we work with all of our local schools, local artists, and all the elected officials, including the council district, the congressman, and supervisor. And so, as you can see in this picture, I love this picture because it really shows everything that this event that we had in December was and what we're trying to do again for March 27th. And so you can see the mariachi, our culture of this papel picado, the decorations you see on the top were all provided by the community. We like to provide opportunities for all ages to be involved. So it's not just youth programming. So as you heard with our native group, we have a group of moms who come by and we knit. And so I showed them examples of yarn bombing. And so it's taking it to that next level of installing out in the street and adding some color, some inspiration, and really getting them excited to work on these projects. It is an opportunity for our community to play outdoors. We empower our residents again through the information of environmental justice and how we can continue to advocate for green spaces, for open spaces, and how we can use arts and culture to move that forward. And celebrating our culture all together. This was at the end of our festival where everyone just came out and watched this mariachi group and all, and really having a good time. The next slide. And so this is our budget. We did focus most of our funding to go to artists, including culinary arts, including installation artists, our yarn bombing team, and having live artists and local artists participate in this event. So again, this is a picture, and we hope to be able to have this event March 27th before it gets too hot before the summer heat comes in. So we'd like to have it at the end of March. Thank you for May.
Date is May.
May 27th, yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, thank you. Any questions, comments?
Wish every budget looked like yours. And also appreciate you meeting the community literally where they're at. And I know the work that you all have done, and it's good, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Love the link to the solar and thinking about the value of the energy and missing part to do that. Great. And help you with.
I have a question for you. I'm a knitter.
Yes.
What is yarn bombing?
Yarn bombing is when you install knitting projects on fencing, or you cover a bench, or you cover anything that's out a tree, or a tree.
It looks beautiful.
And so you can, everyone can work on an individual piece and we stitch it together and wrap it around a tree or a fence.
It's collaborative. So you won't feel alone.
Yeah, come
I've
join
seen
us.
what she described, but I didn't know it had a title. So thank you very much. I just wasn't going to ask.
I'm curious about what you get for $200 for your marketing budget for Facebook and Instagram. What?
The promotion.
What's the reach on that, or what's the? How much reach do you think?
Well, now that we're part of Doing the Beautiful, it's a lot bigger. Casa Esperanza, before that, was a much smaller social media reach. A lot of our reach is word of mouth.
Yeah.
And just phone calls. So now.
So we basically pay for ads on social media and whatever we have in the budget, that's what
That's how much it is.
that's what we get, but that amount, we used it a lot with census outreach, with COVID outreach, so we have a good sense of how much benefit we get.
Yeah.
So we anticipate 200 is basically what we need for something like this.
Thank you.
So I'm coughing on, so I'm trying to put this cup. So I'm sorry if it's something.
We don't.
Any questions or comments?
Okay, great.
Just to remind you, if you didn't hear us before, to check in with your council district for tables, chairs, and that part. Yeah.
We actually borrowed that from us.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, we have a certain amount like when we had this event, we realized we needed council office was a part of that, and we put them all together.
We don't have a council member just yet. Maybe until June.
That's right.
It's a little tricky too.
But they have staff.
But they do have staff,
Yeah.
but we have a good relationship with them still right now, so we'll definitely be working with
Maybe they can borrow from a neighboring.
The only thing I saw missing was, I didn't see any porta potties. Do you need them in this particular neighborhood?
We don't, we have facilities nearby that we're able to use for this event that works out.
Yeah, but we have a park and our own facility that they can use.
Got
And it's, like I said, surrounded by apartment buildings, so that's just gonna.
That's crazy. But you might give people beer. Well, thank you. It's a great presentation.
Thank
So is there a motion to approve Turn on the Sun Cultural Festival?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Guerrero. Second. Thank you, Commissioner Arnold. Vote. Commissioner Jimenez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ho.
Yes.
Commissioner Guerrero,
Yes.
and I also, Commissioner Scafano, vote yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Twenty to Vegas to Chatsworth.
I know, I love this.
The same weekend.
So Chatsworth, like you kind of forget how big, like LA is.
It's incredible. I want to go to all of them.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
It's amazing.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Different, yeah, in Los Angeles.
That's incredible.
That's like-
Thank you.
Thank
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Our last arts activation is the historical Venice Cinco de Cinco, sorry. Went to Venice. Yeah. Sorry. It's so funny because earlier today I was speaking with somebody who was speaking in Spanish and I was answering him in Italian. So my brain is like, I used to do that.
Oh, that's so cool.
So this is located in Council District 11. And you are seeking civic support for 7,500, correct? And this will be Saturday, May 6th. Yep. And Armando Smith will be presenting. So give you this introduction.
Yes, the historical Venice Cinco de Mayo Parade and Festival will be returning once again to CD11 to promote and highlight the Mexican culture within the city of Los Angeles. This event will stretch from Lincoln Boulevard to California Avenue, in which live performances of local mariachi bands to marching band performances from Venice High School will be in full display. Close out the event, celebratory festival will be held at Oakwood Park, which will offer artistic performances and an array of Mexican cuisine, in addition to numerous cultural learning opportunities about Mexican history. Allow me to introduce Laura Ceballos, who will be presenting today.
So Laura Ceballos, I'm a Venice native and a community organizer in the Venice area. So I want to present to you the historical Venice Cinco de Mayo Parade and Festival. So one of the things is why we celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Many believe, are confused with the Mexican Independence Day, which it is not. Cinco de Mayo is not celebrated in Mexico, it's celebrated here in California. And it's a yearly celebration held on Cinco de Mayo that commemorates the victory of the Mexican forces that defeated French troops in 1862 in Puebla, Mexico. And so many wonder, like, why is this important? But what many don't know, or many people forget, is that this historical moment helped end slavery because the French weren't able to join the Confederacy, and the French troops also wanted to trade their arms, their weapons with cotton, and join the fight, for the slavery. So when did this event originate? It originated in the 1960s during the Civil Rights Movement and the Chicano movement, way before my time. But I remember as a child watching with my mother. I wasn't part of the event,
The west side Venice has been gentrified, so there's a new set of people. And that's why it's important to celebrate this. And in the Oakwood area, which is the heart of Venice, it was predominantly Chicanos, Mexican Americans, and Blacks that lived in the area, resided in the area. So, yeah. So what are the benefits of this celebration? Well, first of all, it celebrates the city's diversity. You know, the city of LA has a really diverse population, and so we get to celebrate the Mexican American Chicano culture. It also brings the community together, so it unifies us. You know, we get to bring neighboring, businesses, local, Santa Monica College comes out, and everybody gets to have a good time and unify. And it also gives the city their self-pride. You know, a lot of people have a pride in their city, and many people it's a chance to not reflect on the negative, but the positive of the neighborhood, and to also bring a sense of belonging. You know, before this event, we brought it back after a 32-year gap, so we brought it back in 2016, and many within the Mexican American community had moved out, and so they didn't feel like they had a sense of belonging, because they were relocated. But so this is a chance to celebrate city pride, and it helps build the community. A lot of the businesses, organizations, community schools all play a big role, and the residents come out. So it's a big event that everybody looks forward to. So this year, it's going to be held on Saturday, May 6th. There's two parts to the event. There's the parade portion that begins on Lincoln Boulevard in California, and it goes down Lincoln Boulevard and it makes its way to Oakwood Park, and then it's preceded by a street festival, which is at Oakwood Park. But it's going to be, I mentioned Oakwood Park, but it's going to be the street closure festival on 7th Avenue between California and Broadway. So Councilmember Tracy Park is paying for the permit, which is very expensive. So here I have photos of Charros. We'll have, Charros is a Mexican person, and they'll participate in the parade. And then we have some Aztec dancers and political dancing. And here we have our pictures. Another picture. This is Lincoln Boulevard. So these are all the classic cars going down north toward those. And so this is so we have Tracy Parks and all Venice Community Corporation, Boys and Girls Club, Venice Arts, Santa Monica College, Venice High School, and they all participate and are supporters of the event. And here's the budget. I noticed the stage is not on here. So we will get a stage. So we're still working on that. And so thank you.
Do you need funding for the stage?
Yeah. So yeah. We were not going to have a stage because it didn't allow it to, but we are going to find a way to get a stage. Not that I've done it. Yeah, not that I have. Yeah, everything costs so. But we'll make it work.
So I'll say that some council districts have stages. You might want to check with yours.
The stage though, if you get it outside, if you rent it, it's cheaper than the city of LA. So like it's very expensive I think it's more than 15.
They should donate it.
Yeah, so,
Or, lend it.
yeah, but
Every
because they go
district's
through
different.
a rental, I think it's AAA or something like that. And so it's a rental and their prices are not
Very
um,
expensive.
yeah, so we're the party supply store in the area. I think they charge like 600, so that's like half the cost. But then they charge to deliver it. So and all that. But, yeah.
Sorry,
Oh, and I just do want to mention, out of this project, I know we do a lot of like she mentioned, the city of LA does a lot of events, and I talk about community building. So out of this event, we were able to there's another project that came out of this project, and it's the Venice Mexican American Taquero Monument Project. And I don't know if you guys heard about it, but it was approved on Cinco de Mayo 2021, and Dolores Huerta, our civil rights leader, spoke on behalf of it, and it was approved through the LAC Council. It's something, the parade started in 2016. We've been working on it since 2017. We got support from the community. We have over 23 letters of support from politicians and LULAC and everybody in the community and businesses. And it was approved. And so now we're in the process of getting the permit and fundraising and hoping the city of LA, I don't know, the public arts, I don't know if you guys are on, maybe, or not. You'll hear about it, but
It will come to the commission after.
Yeah.
the public process.
yeah, so we're ready to submit it to get the approval, but it's been a really fight to get it. And yeah, there's a lot of, but we're really proud. I didn't mention about the project that Taquero, what the monument is going to honor is Mexican and Mexican American people that work on the railroads, known as taqueros. And so this is something that's not in history books, and it's not taught in schools, and it's not, they're not given credit to. So this is something big. And I know that it's going to be in Venice, and people are like, oh, does it just pertain to Venice taqueros? Well, we're proud to have it in Venice, but it represents all taqueros, because if you know, the main railroad transportation system went beyond Venice, or, so it's something really big, and we're proud. You'll be hearing about it. So I just wanted, so out of this project, we kind of, that project developed. So,
the railroad went down Lincoln Boulevard, right?
it went down Venice.
Venice.
And then it's gonna, oh yeah, I didn't mention, it's gonna be placed at Windward Circle in Venice. So it's by the beach in a very touristic area. And but the train tracks did pass by like a block away. It was really close by. Yeah. And I do want to mention there is another sculpture there at Windward Circle that was created by Robert Graham, who I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a Mexican sculpture artist, but so he has a sculpture there as well. So we're really excited about this, and I'll make sure to invite all of you guys. We're hoping in 2 years. I mean, monuments do not happen overnight, and there's a process, and there's a lot, but I'm really proud to be part of it. So
Thank you.
I know this is about secret, but I just had to share.
So when can I start off and thank you so very much for making sure that the festival emphasizes the origination of Cinco de Mayo.
Right.
I spent a lot of time telling that to people, almost literally word for word the way you did, which is actually all Black people could stand up and celebrate Cinco de Mayo,
Right.
but for it, slavery would have been further in the West. And that is,
Yeah.
and I love to tell that to people because, and then no, it's not about around the maypole. No, it's not Mexican Independence Day. And so to hear you saying it as an emphasis within what you're doing on that day just fills my heart. And I used to stand on the stages of the California African American Museum and tell them this every May as we celebrated why we should jump up and down for Cinco de Mayo. So
Yeah.
thank you. That's one. And two, as you can tell by my gray hair, I am actually old enough to remember the train tracks and the cars.
Yeah.
And the sense of the idea that you are celebrating what was sort of the original origin of the celebration out of the 60s in that time period, and etc. Cars bouncing up and down. Oh my goodness. So it is a fun thing to do, and in that location, particularly as it changes back from having been abandoned, and then the people of color can move in, and now we're going to move back. It allows for people to understand the totality of the culture in that particular neighborhood. So I think it's a great idea, and that really feel free to emphasize the historical part of what you're doing, because that's what makes it different than just it's a Cinco de Mayo festival and nobody and nobody knows what's happening with it. And like I said, my heart was full right at that moment.
Yeah, and the Oakwood area, like I mentioned before, I want to reiterate, is historically it was an African, American and Chicano Mexican American community. It was an area, and so it's really great that we do the event and we share that public space, because it means a lot, and during the restricted covenant times, the Oakwood area is the only area where the Black African Americans were allowed to reside.
Not that far from the inkwell.
Yeah, for the Ewa. And then when the 405 came along, it misplaced a lot of Chicano and Mexican American families, and they came along as well. But there were some already in the Venice area, because California used to be Mexico, so it's all.
I'll give you one last fun fact, or whatever it's worth. You probably already know this. You can always tell them that Mexico had a stamp on Martin Luther King before the United States.
Mexico
had
what? Sorry.
Yeah, the postal stamp.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time during exhibitions on the presence of the African presence in Mexico, and the exchanges of cultures, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's a perfect time to try to also engage people and have them know that there's this sense of actually we're all connected, et cetera. So thank you.
I had no idea about that. That's incredible. It's an incredible fun fact. It is very weird, because actually right before I came to this meeting, I was actually on Zoom with my client, Jaime, who's doing a new show for CBS. And we were talking about, so it's going to be a primetime game show called Loteria. We're talking about like cultural authenticity. And he's like, actually I was on the show before for you guys on CBS. And one of the episodes was called Cinco de Mayo, and it was all about his character being upset that people were calling about the Independence Day and they were getting it wrong. We were really talking about this, so it's so funny to see that here, and I love that you're keeping it true to the roots, and it sounds like a great event, and you've got a lot of services and things donated, so it looks really efficient and good.
And I just want to say, because I've been here before, and at first I don't like public speaking, but I remember you mentioned about slavery.
Coming full circle. Okay, now
I knew about it, but she would always remind me. So yeah.
Well, first of all, I think the Mexican American Chicano community of Venice deserve this and so much more. I want to just, take the opportunity to thank you all for the kind of work you all culturally that you've been doing, in spite of a lot of hurdles. And also the memorial is something that I read about and was really excited about. And now to learn that it's moving forward, because my grandfather was a trapero. So
yes.
Oh, let's talk after.
So that's very good news. But I also want to underscore that, revisiting history is something that's so important because there is this popular opinion that Cinco de Mayo is irrelevant now. But when we hear about the true history, right, and all of its intersections, the relevance of it today, especially in the city of LA, is so important to share. So I hope that story is shared at the event in terms of why the battle happened and what it affected Sin Fronteras. So I'm just very happy also to see the kind of investment in the artists and the culture providers here. Again, that's really important to us. So congratulations on a great proposal and budget and
well, thank you guys, because it wouldn't have been possible without you guys. I mean, the first few years we funded it, but so we're hoping to make it bigger. The community is really excited. It's really diverse, so everybody comes out and everybody wants to promote their business or information, and it's a time to really connect and educate the new community and the old community about our roots, our history, because history sometimes it's not how should I say this? Like history is sometimes it's being erased, and so sometimes people will tell you what they want to tell you, their history, but this is like true history. So
it's important to continue to tell the story, and maybe I guess there's
and the celebration can continue
with the right messaging.
And it's our youth, we need to pass it on to, because we're getting older, and I'm 52.
That's
absolutely
Thank you. So do we have a motion to approve the historical Venice Cinco de Mayo?
I so moved this one.
Yes, absolutely. And we have a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Guerra. So we'll do a quick vote. Commissioner Jimenez?
Yes.
Commissioner Ho?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
Commissioner Guerra?
Yes.
And Commissioner Soprano, yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I hope you guys can come out and enjoy the event. It's a really fun event.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And then, can you email or can I get?
Yeah, I'd love to exchange information. Yeah, he worked on the RTD tracks on this side of town. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So even like Watts has, they were created by the whole Traquero, because what happened is these as they were the workers, the Traquero workers, they traveled and they settled, but there were these communities, and there was these Mexican railroad camps that were near the railroad tracks. But originally they were boxcars, so the cars that no longer worked or whatever, they would take the wheels off, and those are the housing that the Traqueros and their families live in. So sometimes without air conditioning, and just need to set up in the desert, and so that's how these communities came about and settled. So we were able to find that even in Santa Monica, there was Mexican railroad camps on the outskirts, so they had to be around the railroad tracks. So
thank you.
Yeah.
And a little known fact is that the city, there's a house on the Watts Towers Art Center campus. There is one last piece of property there that the city is going to be able to purchase, and it is one of the original Traquero housing for Watts. So so we're going to be using that for a conservation center.
That's interesting. I would like to learn more about that, because we are creating a booklet. That's what I want to talk to you about. We want to honor families, because we do get feedback from different areas, even Pasadena. And where they had their parents, their grandfathers or great grandfathers were
Taqueros workers. And the artist, we do have the artist, his name is Jorge Marin. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he did the Alas de Mexico. So he's a Mexican sculpture artist. And he made the alas for Mexico, had made a gift for the city of LA. And he created them for
It's
It's right at the observatory.
yeah,
right?
so alas de- so we're honored to have him create one. So it's gonna be a taquero worker with the son on his shoulders and holding his daughter's hand and his wife by his side, because we felt it's important to have the whole family, you know.
Sure,
Because it's not just the worker, it
right.
takes a whole.
Well, it affects everyone.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
so
I can't wait.
yeah, you guys will learn more about it.
Yeah.
And, I know this is about to go mild, but that's
No, I love it.
Thank
you.
All right, thank you.
Guys, thank you. So the next item is street light submission. So I think we have Tammy will be the one to present, and we have item A, B, C, D, E, F that are all matching, correct? I think so, yeah. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the meeting. You all for the meeting. So today we have 6 matching streetlights and one that is not, one that is no existing. Right. So I can run through each street light quickly.
Madam Chairman, can I ask a question? The matching streetlights, the same streetlight for all 6 of them, right?
Oh, all 6 of them have, they're all very similar. So they're.
Matching just refers to that they're
What's
matching what's
existing.
already there, right? Okay,
Got it. Yeah,
but
that's,
they'll be different.
got it. Okay. Yes, thank you. Sorry. I
You mean like
forgot about
replacement?
that part.
The ones that replace, right? Like,
Yeah.
matching.
Yeah.
We're having some technical difficulties, so this
You
is.
could show it to us.
No, there,
Yeah, that's fine.
so this is the street lights that's being proposed. They're usually like the same, like 5 over and over again. So you guys have seen these before. All of them, it's when it says matching, it's matching what's already in the neighborhood.
Right.
And no existing. This neighborhood is just dark right now. There's no street lights, and they're bringing street lights into the neighborhood.
And those, Tammy, are 851 CD 851, right? Which is
Yeah.
the one on the left.
Mhm.
Okay, so we can probably take items A through, what's the 6th letter? F.
A through F.
On consent?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you guys need a, Stella gave me an extra set of, do you need to see these?
No.
I don't think so.
Thank you. So are we
No, we're
moving
okay.
to approve on consent? Is that what we're doing? We still have to vote, right?
Yeah, we
Stuff
have to
with
vote,
Yeah.
but we're gonna do all 6 of them in one vote.
Okay, great.
Okay, so, is there a motion to approve, matching streetlights A, B, do we have to read them out loud? Okay, matching
I think you can just read, you can just say A through F.
A through F. Is there a motion to approve?
Move. Some of.
Thank you, Commissioner Jefferson. And Commissioner Guerrero. So we will quickly vote. Commissioner Jimenez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Hall?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
Commissioner Guerrero?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
And for the record, in case anybody wonders, like, why did we do that? We didn't know. The street lights that are there are ones we already approve of, and if it's already matching what's in the area, then there's no reason for us to have it there.
Right.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Yes.
Commissioner Guerrero, Commissioner Jefferson.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So the last one is,
So item 2A is a no existing streetlight, so there are no streetlights there currently. I will open this up so we can see.
I'll give you another place to go.
It's Nayla.
A little scary.
In Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Kansas made it.
Yeah.
So they're proposing 3 for this neighborhood, so we're gonna light it up.
Good.
Like that puppy.
Bring on the light.
So,
Put some solar panels.
so the digital cone shows where it's going, proposed to be, and this is what it's going to look like. This is at 851. One on the left. So those are all the locations.
Out of curiosity, is this one of those poles where the other folks are gonna come along later on and go, can we put one of these things on the top of the pole?
They generally don't do it for these.
Got it. So that what is appearing a little residential and what we're seeing will have a feeling of being a residential neighborhood. with, you know,
Yeah.
poles.
Because every pole has a, they're calculated to carry a certain amount of load. And if you exceed that, then it becomes really unsafe. So generally, it's the utility poles that have like all the stuff that's like connected to it. And they have the wires that run across. These generally won't have much. Sometimes they might have, in a commercial district, they will have an arm to carry signal lights. But since this is a residential neighborhood, you're not proposing that. This is just the light.
True. No. And these are also, are these the concrete based ones? They look less industrial than they look to me like that.
Yeah,
They're a little more residential. Yeah. Okay. So is there a motion to approve item A for new streetlight?
So moved.
Thank you. Commissioner Jimenez, do we have a second? Second. Thank you, Commissioner Hart. We'll vote quickly on this one. Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
Commissioner Garrett? Yes. Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner York? Yes. And I vote yes, Commissioner Stefano. So that has been approved. So I think that brings us to the general manager's report.
All right. I am so excited to just say welcome back. Welcome. Welcome.
Yeah.
First time. Thank you. Great meeting, really thoughtful conversation, and really appreciated a nurturing approach that you continue to share with our public space applications. It's been really exciting to watch that group of folks really grow. Sometimes some of them we're seeing a second time, a third time, and seeing them matriculate into our grants program. So it's really been wonderful. And thank you, Tammy, for guiding us on streetlights, and to our public art team. So just want to catch you up on a few things over the last few months. It's been a busy time here. From African American History Month events to the Holy Festival, the Public Space Activation Fund, classes and programming at our art centers and theaters, continuing to provide really important programming for communities across the city. I wanted to just give a quick share. I want to share a little bit about a recent leadership exchange that we had with Paris. So we, the Department of Cultural Affairs, along with LA County Department of Arts and Culture, through a program through the World Cities Culture Forum and a grant from Bloomberg, are part of a leadership exchange on the Olympics on the 24 in Paris and 28 here. We had a chance to welcome 5 delegates from Paris, really wonderful representation from government, one from one of the surrounding community around surrounding cities. So a little bit of trying to mirror the city-county experience that we had here. And really a great opportunity to learn. It's the first of these types of experiences allowed us to bring some folks together here, give them a perspective on what we are, even with four full days, you only get a fraction of what we do here at the city. And really just a phenomenal opportunity, great opportunity to build greater cultural equity and inclusion and understanding and seeing what they're working on and how they're planning and really starting a dialogue that we're kind of continuing. So they came, they were here in the middle of March. We have a webinar that we're participating in on April 25th that I'm happy to share information about with you all. That's going to be an opportunity for us to hear from Paris and London and Tokyo and Sydney. There's also a member of the International Olympics Committee that's going to be joining as well. And it's being moderated by Kay Levin from Bloomberg. And so it's really going to be a great opportunity for us to, I'm excited, of course, to share about what it is that we're doing and some of the experiences that we've had, but I'm really excited to dive in and learn, because I think these are really important dialogues that we're having, both to hear what has happened in the past and how we start designing what it is that we want to do and what we, I think really opportunities to prepare our communities and what do we want as a city for the Cultural Olympiad to look like, and how do we build a model that is inclusive and broad and builds both towards, and when I think about it in 3 different ways. I think about it building towards the Olympics. So the run up between now and 2028, the Olympics 2028, and then what are we able to establish that will be able to stick with us beyond?
Yes.
Because we need it, and our communities need it, our artists need it, our nonprofit arts organizations need this support. So that's kind of where I'm coming from as I'm thinking about it, and I look forward to talking to each of you as we get further along and figure out how to really build upon the expertise that we have here. So additionally, just wanted to share we're continuing to move forward on the 1871 Chinese Massacre Memorial, continuing our listening sessions with our COVID memorial process as well, and really kind of building momentum on both of those. A few different upcoming events that I wanted to share. We actually have another Holy Festival that's being sponsored by the department on April 22nd in Lanark Park, which is in Nova Park area. So if you're able to join, it is a day, about half a day full of dance performances, and at the end will be the Festival of Colors. And I just have to say, I thank Commissioner Scrofano for joining as well. The Holy Festival in Venice that you all supported several months ago was such a delight. It was so much fun to see the performers and see all of the community members get involved. It was, I think there were certain people that I won't name were trying to escape unscathed from the shock. And we all got shocked. And it was amazing. It was amazing. So it was just a fun experience. So for those of you that are able to join on the 22nd, we'll get that information. The other event that I wanted to just share real quick is at our Lancashire Arts Center, we're having an empowerment event celebrating female ingenuity and creativity, where we are celebrating Dolores Huerta and Rita. So more information will be coming on that as well.
When is that?
The weekend of April 28th, 29th, and 30th. Okay. So it's going to be 3 days of events. There are going to be public speakers and wellness and some performances and engagement with youth. And Dolores Huerta will, as I understand, is going to be participating via Zoom. So really excited to have this going and really proud of the work that our Performing Arts Division is doing. So that's my report. And next, are there any questions? All right, so next I want to shift over to our recognition of our commissioners. So we have some things to present to you. And it is truly my honor to say thank you to both of you. It has been the last few, it goes broad and narrow in this. So the last few years for all of you that have participated on the commission have been a lift for all of us. It's been a transition. We all have done amazingly well in continuing to nurture and bring the same feelings that you brought and support for all of our presenters over Zoom that you do in person. And you continue to ask good questions and challenge us as a department, and you challenge the presenters, and you held everybody to the same level of accountability for the aesthetics of the city. And I mean, there's so many things to say. I think about Commissioner Jefferson. I mean, your passion and commitment to arts and culture in Los Angeles, in the United States, in the world, has just been such an inspiration to me. And to see and hear how you speak about the arts and how you continue also to lift up the African American story and the way that you support arts here in Los Angeles. It is something that will continue to stick with me. And I sincerely hope that we will be able to continue our work together, even though we won't be on the commission together, to be able to help you and continue to build on the city's aesthetic and the city and the work that the city does.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Scrivano, we have had a chance to work really closely together over the last few years. You took the helm and agreed to stay at the helm at a time that we all figured out what we all had to figure out what we were doing. And I know you didn't do it alone. And you had the support of the commission. But
A lot of support.
But it just, and your voice as an architect on the commission, you have held us to a standard of architectural excellence for the city that I think has been imprinted on all of our minds of the questions that need to continue to be asked, and the way that we can make sure that every community in the city is treated with an equitable lens, and that we continue to support our communities. So thank you. We have a few things to present. We have some certificates, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this.
Oh, I know, I'm saying.
We have some certificates. We have a gift for each of you, and I also
one we have to report on our form.
I made sure that it was under that amount, and the gift is personally from me.
Daniel got it.
Oh, my favorite. And Selma and I have had many conversations about which one we think should go to who, and I'm not sure.
That's a hard call.
It is.
But they're both extraordinary.
And I want to give. So we want to present the certs, and we also want to give the other commissioners and you both a chance to say something. So, shall we continue with the conversation, and then once we're done, we'll present the certs, and and we can take some pictures together.
Yeah, that sounds great. Pictures for sure.
So I see my time. Shall I allow what if we have the other commissioners, if anybody wants to say something first, and then we'll give you both a chance to say a few words.
I'm totally getting emotional already. I haven't said anything. When I joined the commission, one of the first things I said was, I'm here to listen and learn from my fellow commissioners. And there couldn't have been two better teachers for me. Charmaine, you've been a teacher for me in this work. And I feel like we're the LA OGs that are still hanging in there, reminding people of what happened so we don't repeat it again. So it just feels really good to have someone that gets it and also that continues to model leadership for me. And Daniel said it about the architecture, but I have to say, I was like, I don't know anything. I don't know what questions to ask. I don't know what, and so you have opened up a new world, but also have, you have taught me to the benefit of this city, when to push, right, in your arena. And that has just been invaluable for me as a commissioner and in service to the city. So I couldn't ask for two better teachers. Thank you. Love you both.
Nice to see you all again, for sure.
Well, I'm newer to the commission, and it's amazing. It's like the first time we're in person. So I'm like, wait, we just met in person. But no, I really sincerely appreciate you both. I think I think you got it right. Teachers, and I've sat back and I've really listened, and a lot of times I don't say anything, but you guys make really amazing insights, really amazing questions. That's good. Let me store that. And I really appreciate the expertise and the enthusiasm and the passion that you bring. And thank you so much for both of your services. And I'll miss you guys, but would love to continue a great friendship. And I don't know what I'm gonna do without the fun facts.
I don't think maybe the city does, but at least we understand how lucky the city and this commission has been to have had your service, both of you, for all this time. Not just at the commission, but what you do outside of the commission, your private life, the jobs and the positions you both hold and held as amazing women in leadership. So that I want to honor your work outside of this room and this space, as Angelina and just as amazing women that I look up to. Charmaine, one of the things I first learned from you when I came on the commission was some advice that I went back to give my daughter. Actually, it's completely outside of this. And it's something that I think she remembered. She was conflicted about like one thing over the other. And she's like, well, why don't you just have her try this other thing? Because she's always going to have this sewing background. And I want to share that with my daughter after that. So I think that we beyond just this commission as well. And just a statement of like this community I look up to. So thank you. I don't know what it is about you and I that I feel like, dang, she's cool. I just admire the way you took the helm of this. Honestly, the one time you asked, you couldn't be here. And I had to I was like, oh shoot. Like, why can't you just come back already? I know how hard it is. And I admire the work that you do and that architectural like lens that you bring. I don't know if we should have taken notes.
I know we should have recorded it.
Always a phone call away for any architectural.
It will be missed.
In the middle of a meeting? I'd like to call. Yeah. I'd love to call a friend.
Thank you both. Not just from here and this work outside. I do admire everything you do outside. More so than you do.
Well, it has been, I wrote this whole thing and I'm like the world's worst public speaker on the cuff. So I might send it to all of you because it's a little long, but it has been an honor and privilege to serve with all of you. And I want to thank you all for being so patient with me, dealing with all those Zoom meetings. And, it's not my strength. I would say like having to rein in over Zoom and technology, and you guys were also patient and supportive, that I kept going. And I know you're going to be an amazing president. So it's, just, you already command the room. So, and Charmaine, you above all people, I mean, I've learned from you from day one that I came here. It was just like, wow, that she knows her stuff. She is so smart. I love the way your brain works and continual commitment.
I'm not paying you enough. That was a joke.
just the high standards, and it's just been so fun to get to know everybody in the office of the Department of Cultural Affairs. I mean, it's been, I don't come from any sort of political background. I never thought I would ever serve on anything. And I've been on this commission for 5 years, and the 3 years before, cultural heritage has been like one of the greatest experiences for me because I've learned so much, and it's been so amazing to see all the incredible work that you guys are doing for the city. And, you know, I'm still going to be an ambassador. I'm still going to send you this whole thing. I wrote all about the great things you guys are doing, and, you know, you're all making LA a better, all of us, you know, are making LA a better place to live, work, visit, play, you know, build communities. And I do really feel like also one of the greatest things of serving is that I have met this whole new community of people, and I will still continue to go to events. So if you need someone to show up, you know, I'll come as a guest, and I will always be. I'll always be an ambassador. So our paths will cross. We're friends for life, and it's so funny because I was at my friend Barry Wolofsky. He serves on cultural heritage, and you know, even though I left that commission, I've made new friends, and you keep the same friends that you have, and it's been a real privilege. So thank you. And I'll send you all what I was going to say because I don't think I can get through.
No, listen. This would have been my third mayor. So I've been sitting here in a while through a couple of incarnations in my own life, from running an institution to building up my own business, and doing work outside of LA and all this other kind of stuff, and watching the trends. You are the third director that I've served. I am amazed at a lot of the things, not amazed in a like it couldn't have happened, but so excited about what has happened with cultural affairs in terms of starting to go, no, we're not this little small thing over here. We're going to have a voice. We're going to stand up. We're going to put our feet out. We're going to do this, and this. We're going to add in these additional programs. And we're going to also make our commission a part of that. And it has made this particular role continue to it not only expand and have value, but allow the commissioners to then bring their value to the table and hopefully be able to assist and say, okay, we think there ought to be a look for the city of Los Angeles. And you're not going to just keep bringing us, 20 different AGFs and stuff that most people would, we've had some commissioners who wanted to go, who cares about all of this? And like, well, if we don't care, then there's going to be 20,000 different AGFs all over the place. And then someone's going to go, well, why didn't you? And I've loved the fact that there's been this embrace of saying, if we're going to sit in this role, then we're going to do something. And it's not going to be every other commission in the city that gets to plan it, and then cultural affairs somehow or another doesn't have a voice. And you allowed us, all of the staff allowed us to do it. All of you bought into that. I've been here through a lot of different commissioners. Sometimes when we've had architectural people, and sometimes when we haven't. It makes a world of difference. I think if there's anything that we could say back to the mayors or mayors as they continue to appoint people into the role, first off, we're not replacing. That's right. But more importantly, we are. And we know that sometimes those decisions get made out of things that people, folks, they did something and they care. But this commission really does have a purpose. And it really has value for this agency. And we have the ability to also be advocates for you in ways. And so if there's anything that I am so extraordinarily grateful for, is that there's a lot of things I'm grateful for, is that to see the evolution and see us get to this place where it's like we were on a roll. And now we're going to have this new mayor, and look it up. And we were on a roll. And so the two of us, only two of us were talking to each other.
Yeah.
We're a little, whoa, happened. Really? Okay. And my term was supposed to have ended for last year, so that when I got asked to stay on, I was like, okay, well then let's vest in this. So if I could just ask for anything, is that don't give up that fight or that battle or that role that you need from your commissioners so that you can say, I've got this expertise. These are not just citizens. I've got this expertise and it can serve your purpose, because I think that that's why all of us were willing to vest and be here. And when I say all of us, I don't just mean, I mean all of us were willing to vest. And the hardest part about it was that because of the rules as to how many conversations you can have and how many people can come together before it looks like we had a meeting, it's not like we could just pick up the phone and go, and yet this sense of friendship and family developed here. Huh? Yeah, and that, but we couldn't, it's not like we could go back and go, hey, let's go do so-and-so, because we'd probably look up and someone, but I saw 3 commissioners today.
Forget about
So in some respects, this is slightly freeing. In other respects, it's like, oh my God, my family just came back together and now we have to go away. So I wanted to put that out there from that perspective, so that the staff and the team and all of you know that when it didn't seem like we're connected and new, like, oh my God, but this is the first time we get to be with you, and now it's not happening. That those are really key and critical, and that's what I'm walking with. I'm pretty sure I didn't properly judge the traffic because I didn't want to be here before the meeting started. I know psychologically I didn't judge it right, just so that I would not be sitting here going, uh-oh, I'm in it, because I would cry.
Yeah.
And I don't do that often. So thank you for all of that, and for each of the things that have come in, and for the moments that you've allowed me to go, I'm sorry, I don't think you got it right. And no one looked at me and screamed. So just, I know it's going to be wonderful. I know everybody's going to be great, but I will miss you with all of my heart.
And the service.
Yeah, all of it.
But you can use us as ambassadors.
Absolutely, welcome to be ambassadors. We as a city are indebted to you for your service. We're better for it.
Yeah.
Truly are.
You got a power team still sitting here.
Oh,
Yeah.
We ain't worried.
Yeah.
I want to say that all of this is to support the two of you and the commission that we have. We are very, very lucky. We've got a very strong group of commissioners here. We have 2 more that will be joining that I think will be great voices to add to the discussion as well. And we're going to continue to do good work. And you will always be part of the Cultural Affairs family.
For sure.
For sure. And ambassadors for sure. There aren't so many of us to go around. We're a small but mighty team. We will take the support and the advocacy. I actually had that in my notes to say, thinking about, you're a fierce advocate for arts and culture here. And whether it was a call to me or whether it was a call to whoever you need to reach out to, you have the relationships that people take your call, and people want to be able to support you and hear you.
I don't know, pull that moose of a lie over on you, but yeah.
I'll take it and I'll use it. So.
Listen, we will never look at AGF the same.
Exactly. And there's one at the end of my block that I look at all the time and go, I wish I could bring this before that we do something about this.
So here are the certificates, and as I'm looking at it, we will need to find another time for us to meet.
Yes.
Because we are not celebrating.
Oh, no worries.
But I'd like to read the language on each of them and present them to you on behalf of the mayor of the city of Los Angeles. To Commissioner Jefferson for the Department of Cultural Affairs on completing over 11 years as a commissioner, serving the city from 2012 to June 13th, 2023. with a specific focus on improving the architecture and artwork on city property and on striving toward the city's goal of excellent civic design and public art. Thank you for your service to our city and for helping to increase access to art and culture for all Angelinos. Commissioner Stefanos, and maybe we can take some pictures together. And Commissioner Scarfano, Commissioner, Department of Cultural Affairs, on completing nearly 9 years as Commissioner, serving in the city from August 14th, 2014 to June 13th, 2023, with a specific focus on improving the architecture and artwork on city property and on striving toward the city's goal of excellent civic design and public art. Thank you for your service to our city and for helping to increase access to art and culture for all Angelinos.
Thank you.
So can we get everybody?
Just push them down. No, the other one. Just put them down. Oh, never mind.
That's my good line.
At the bottom, there's a little switch. There you go.
They know my can out of the bill. I like that too.
Yeah.
So that just does these ones.
Oh.
So what do we? How do we have
Switches. The ones downstairs, I thought our lights were all out.
I'm sorry.
Because there's like, it's like you have to push it like 3 times.
Oh.
So she.
Do we have one standing up here with all?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
conditions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why don't we flip to the screen? No, Stella's gonna put it up right now. Okay.
We're missing.
Oh, okay. Nice to see you in person. Susan.
Oh, yes.
Can we adjourn the meeting? Why don't we adjourn? We did not adjourn the meeting.
Oh my God.
Let's adjourn the meeting.
Oh, are we still on?
Just so Josh.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned. There we go. Thank you, Josh. I'm sure. So great to finally see you.
So we're adjourned, so you can stop recording.
Oh, yeah.
That's, I think Scott